Hi, this is Felicia Mupo joining you from my home office in Dallas, Texas. I want to talk to you about one of the most powerful prospecting tools that you could have in the area of relationship marketing, and that's the three-way call. So the three-way call is so powerful during that prospecting process because what it does is it takes you, who may be the best friend or a close friend or family member of the person that you're looking to prospect into your business. It takes you a little bit out of the process, takes some of that emotional attachment away, and lets the person that you're recruiting or prospecting with actually take in the information, take it in, evaluate it, and it also gives you the opportunity to bring in somebody that maybe can answer more questions than you can, or just answer the questions in a slightly different way. It's amazing what happens when you take even your mom. You take your mom and you put your mom in front of somebody that she doesn't even know, and she's going to listen to that information more than she's probably going to listen to the exact same information if you said it. So during the prospecting process, while you're talking with somebody and you're wanting to share information about your business opportunity, it's great if you can incorporate a three-way call or a third-party validation. And here's the best way to do it. You want to go ahead and pique interest of your prospect first. So you don't want to just kind of say, hey, I have this great thing. Hang on just a second. Let me put somebody on the phone with you. That would be weird. They would probably hang up and never answer the phone when you called again. But if you pique interest and get the person on the phone another time. And the best way that I do that is I've scheduled my follow-up call from my first call. I say, hey, great, check out this information. I'll give you a call back tomorrow, or I'll give you a call back in a couple of days. Then I send a text message and I say, hey, are you available for a call in about 30 minutes? They text me back and say, sure, 30 minutes will be fine. When it comes to be about 30 minutes, I give the prospect a phone call. And I'll say, hey, how's it doing? Just calling to follow up with you about the material that I left with you, or, wherever they are in the process. And is this still a good time? I always ask permission to take the person's time, just in case something changed and now this isn't the best time for them to talk. I don't want them to be distracted by that, but I validate that this is still a good time. And then at that point, I go ahead and go into my three-way call. I don't necessarily say, hey, hang on just a second, I'm going to put somebody else on the line with this. When you do that, the person on the other end of the line is going to think, oh, great, she's bringing in the closer, the person's going to try to trick me into something, or I'm not feeling comfortable with this. It brings back thoughts of the car dealership when they got to go get the manager, and nobody appreciates that. But if you go, hang on just a second, I've got a friend and I think you're really going to like her story or their story. Try to leave it generic if you don't know exactly the third-party validation expert you're going to get on the line, and say, hang on just a second, I'd love for you to hear their story. It'll just take like 2 or 3 minutes. And then I put the person on hold. I dial in my third-party validation expert that I'm going to get on the line. I get that expert on the line while my prospect is still on hold. I give them about 30 seconds of information about this prospect if I haven't filled them in ahead of time that I'm going to be calling them with this prospect. Then I patch us together on a three-way call. And all I say as the actual prospector at that point, all I say is, Susie, this is Janet. Janet, this is Susie. Hey, Susie, I wanted you to hear Janet's story. I think you're really going to resonate with her. Can you tell your story for us? And this is a great person for you to hear from. And I pretty much stop there. I may get a little bit of information about how I know the person that I've got on the line, but that's really about it. No more than about 10 or 15 seconds, and I press mute. I press mute on my phone and I don't say another word. If I interject while my expert is giving their testimony and their story, I've ruined the whole thing. So I'm quiet. I don't say anything at all. I take notes. I take in the information, and you will be amazed what your prospect will ask your expert or tell your expert that they've never asked or told you. Great information comes out then. And then you'll find out really what's the person's hot button, or what is it that's really holding them back from moving forward with you at this point. Then you've got something to work with. Your expert will talk for maybe about 5-10 minutes, depending on how many questions get asked, and then they'll wrap up the call. Now, the critical part at the very beginning is I've given a lot of validation to my expert and let my prospect know that this expert is great. Not that they're here to answer their questions, because your prospects may say, well, I don't have any questions, and then the call's ended. But just say, I've really given a lot of validation to them. When the call wraps up, your expert will come back and give a lot of kudos back to you and let your prospect know that, hey, look, it's a great thing that you're talking to, Felicia now. She's been a great leader and you're in good hands here. And then your expert exits the call. Now, me as the person who initiated the call, my goal is to get off that phone call as quickly as possible. You don't want to be rude, but you don't want to extend the call any longer either. Even if I have to say, you know what? I got to call you back another time. The kids are fighting in the other room. Or I got to call you another time. I got to go to the bathroom. Something, anything to get off that call. That way your prospect has a really good chance of truly absorbing the information that your expert has delivered and evaluating that information. If you want to call them back in an hour or so, that's totally fine, but end that call right there. So hopefully that gives you a little of information on how to properly set up a three-way call, and keep following these, because I will also share in a future video how to be the expert on a three-way call and how to handle that and ask the right questions. Thanks so much. Look forward to talking to you. If you like this material and want some more tips and tricks, both in video as well as text form, follow the link below, go over to my website and join my inner circle, and I will share with you everything that I've got. Thank you. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.